All right, you guys enjoyed the last one, so today we're doing 10 of the best third skills L&D edition. And as a reminder, just in case this is your first time watching an entry in this series, I am looking at highlights of skills, not necessarily the monster they're attached to. So I'm not looking at their first skill, their second skill. I don't even technically care about the name of the monster. I'm looking at the quality of the third skill. Starting off the list, we got Charge Vitality that fills up the attack bar of both the thing and an ally, as well as heals by 50%. What the heck? Again, this is the quality of third skill, and this is the 10th one I'm talking about. What this effectively does is it's created a realm where you can sustain a unit and also turn cycle. You can heal something, or you can give something a turn, so that way you can jump in the middle of the turn order and just do some damage, facilitate damage, or whatever you need to do. I think the best part of this skill is that flexibility. If you're not healing, you can just treat it like a Raccoony skill too. Number 9, Final Touch. Everybody was all like, oh, this is an answer to Triple Revenge Vert. No! Well, yeah, but it's so much more than that. It won't trigger passive effects at all. So that means Abelio won't get a turn, Triana won't prevent death, and you can crit on Kinky. As if Kinky needed anything else done to him. 8, Shadowless Movement. This is a 4-hit AoE attack that breaks defense. And then it gets so much worse. Attack break, dot, and attack bar absorption. So that means there's a chance that he could get another turn if that goes well. The only reason why it's so high up on the list is because it is damage at the end of the day, and there are quite a few options that do damage. This is just quite an extravagant way to do damage. How many times can I say damage in a sentence? I'm trying to break that record. Number 7 is Burst Shot. 5 hits to defense break and oblivion. The only other place that you can find this is on Tessarion. And it's not like really the same because Tessarion tries to apply the oblivion after the hit. This is at the same time. The result is huge damage that also ignores any clapback or repercussions that could come as a result of a passive. Number 6, Critical Error. Strip and Stun. Actually insane. They had to invent a whole monster for this. I'm pretty sure this skill is the whole reason why Hey Gang exists. Well, this and more, but you know. The result is a whole lot of value, and in the best case scenario, you get 2 rounds of combat before your enemy gets 1. Because if they're not proccing out of the stun, then that's a lot of value for you. Next, we're halfway through the list. EMP Shock is number 5. This is an AoE that tries to strip 1 buff and also puts their skills on 2 turns of cooldown. That is insane. We've seen this skill in SWC, we've seen it in Legend tournaments, and we know how devastating it can be. Because more often than not, you only have 1 buff at the start of combat, unless there's a Miles or a Bulwark that happens to have a shield. But generally speaking, you're only going to be removing the will. So having it only be 1 buff is not super detrimental all the time. Number 4, Holy Ground. Game Swinging. This is a full team cleanse that puts everyone on 2 turns of invincibility and immunity. But the best part is, if any allies were cleansed of any debuffs on their turn, they get an additional turn of immunity. This skill is game swinging and probably one of the most valuable procs out there. You know, there are some monsters where if they proc, it's not necessarily game changing. This one can swing a game in your favor. Number 3, Curse of Death. This is a lot, but it boils down to this monster dies in 4 turns, maximum. That's all they got left. Your only hope is to remove the person that put Curse of Death on you. But otherwise, like, good luck, because you're down a monster. Number 2, Return Dice. The other half of the Tableau Jameer combo. We talked about Jameer in the Elemental episode, that's so funny. It resets all attack bars down to 0 irresistibly and then applies a speed buff to your team. So in most situations, this is just a free round of combat for your entire team. If it makes you feel like you're cheating in RTA, then it's probably really good. And that's why it's number 2. Now this list does have an honorable mention. And it isn't one of the best third skills in the game, so I wouldn't feel right putting it on a numbered slot, but I did want to bring up Liliana, who has probably the most unique third skill in the entire game, Bind Lord of Hell. Her third skill changes her into an entire different monster with new mechanics and skills. It's really cool to watch. Doesn't always have the best results, but it's super hype when someone picks it. So that's why I felt like it should have an honorable mention. Before we get to number 1, I just want to say there's a ton of other skills that could be on this list. This isn't a definitive top 10, it's 10 of the best. Number 1, Rise of Macaron. AoE, 2-turn defense break, and 2 turns of invincibility for you. That doesn't seem fair, and we like that.